In a quiet neighborhood on an otherwise ordinary morning, a young man named Jun Woo, a tech-savvy but reclusive gamer, wakes up late and lazily decides to skip school. Instead of running errands like his mother asked in a note taped to the fridge, Jun heads straight for his gaming station, logging into an online multiplayer game to spend the day immersed in digital warfare with friends. The mood quickly shifts when one of his friends suddenly yells through the headset, "Turn on the TV right now." Confused, Jun complies. The screen flickers to life with a breaking news report of violent disturbances across the city. But before the anchor can explain, the broadcast abruptly cuts off. Startled, Jun checks his phone only to realize the network is down. When he looks out his window, his world begins to crumble. Chaos reigns in the streets below as people scream, flee, and violently attack one another. In horror, Jun sees a young girl viciously biting a woman. Blood splashes across the pavement. A knock interrupts his panic. He peeks through the peephole but sees no one, until his neighbor suddenly bursts in, disheveled and panicked. The man claims his own brother turned into a monster, tried to kill him, and begs Jun for shelter. Jun refuses to let him stay, but agrees to let him use the bathroom for a moment. Meanwhile, the TV signal returns, reporting a nationwide emergency. A viral infection is sweeping the city, turning victims into violent, bloodthirsty zombies. The infected bleed from their eyes, suffer extreme pain, and lose all sense of humanity. Jun's heart pounds as he remembers the wounded man in his bathroom. Grabbing a kitchen knife, he cautiously approaches, only to find the neighbor hiding a neck wound. As the man insists he's fine, blood seeps through his hand. Suddenly, his eyes begin to bleed. His body convulses violently, and within seconds, he fully transforms into a snarling, twisted zombie. In a desperate struggle, Jun fends him off with the knife and forces him out of the apartment. The creature tries to break back in, but Jun manages to stab it through the door and watches in terror as a larger zombie pounces on the corpse and begins feasting. Jun, frozen and breathless, quickly pushes a refrigerator in front of the door for protection and slumps by the sink, washing his face in disbelief, hoping it's just a nightmare. A message finally comes through from his sister. "I'm safe with Mom. Don't open the door for anyone. Make the food last. The city is crawling with zombies." Jun stares at a family photo, consumed by guilt. If only he'd gone shopping as his mom asked. He inventories his food and realizes supplies are dangerously low. Regret gives way to despair. The following days blur into isolation. The news offers no hope. Experts advise citizens to lock their doors, store food for at least 2 months, and avoid any contact with the infected. Online, people post their names and addresses, begging for rescue. Inspired, Jun writes his own details on a paper, snaps a photo, and uploads it in hopes someone will find him. With no network signal, Jun gets creative. He attaches his phone to a drone, controls it through his VR headset, and flies it into the sky. After gaining altitude, he finally sees 1 bar of signal and attempts to call his sister. But just as the call connects, the drone battery dies, crashing along with his phone. Jun collapses in his chair, hopelessness taking over. That night, he hears gunfire and rushes to the window. A female police officer is fending off a horde of zombies in the street. She runs out of bullets and, in a final act of desperation, tries to shoot herself, but drops the gun before she can. The zombies drag her away screaming. Jun, realizing he needs a weapon, sets his sights on the fallen gun. Suddenly, loud banging rocks his apartment door. He arms himself with a bat. The refrigerator shifts violently. Something's coming through. A zombie bursts in. Jun dodges, races to the balcony, and pretends to leap. The zombie lunges after him and plummets to its death. Unaware, Jun is clinging to the ledge. After climbing back up, Jun seals the door and nails it shut. But when he checks the fridge, he sees his last bit of food has spilled onto the floor. He's out of options. Days pass. He drinks the last of his father's alcohol. He spills his last clean water and ends up licking it from the floor. The TV plays the same broadcast on repeat. Stay indoors, no progress, no rescue. Jun slowly spirals into depression, dancing drunk around the apartment, hallucinating that his family has returned. When a weak signal finally connects his mother's voice, What he hears breaks him. Zombies have broken into their hideout. Her screams, then silence. Jun snaps. In a frenzy, he smashes the TV and everything around him. Fueled by rage and grief, he bursts outside, kills a nearby zombie, and begins screaming into the void. He narrowly escapes death multiple times and hides, silently in corners of his building. Eventually, he retreats to his apartment, but the zombies are drawn by the noise and begin pounding on the door. Jun grips the handle, holding it shut until they finally give up. "20 days pass. The power goes out. The city lies in ruins. Emotionally broken, Jun records one final video and prepares to hang himself. But just as he begins to lose consciousness, a red laser pointer shines through the window. Across the street, a woman holds up a board that reads, "No." Her name is Kim. She's another survivor. Using written signs and hand signals, they start communicating each morning at 7 a.m., forming a bond. Kim calls him an idiot for trying to give up. Slowly, Jun rediscovers hope. When she sees him starving, Kim tries to send food using a rope ball, but the distance is too far. Jun uses a backup drone to bridge the gap, successfully creating a pulley system. Kim sends over food, but their relief is short-lived. A zombie grabs the rope and starts climbing toward her. Kim falls unconscious. The rope drags her across the floor, and the zombie inches closer. Jun flies the drone to distract it. The plan works. Kim wakes up, cuts off the zombie's hand, and saves herself. Meanwhile, a horde surrounds Jun's building. With time running out, Jun breaks into a neighbor's apartment, finds supplies, and narrowly escapes an ambush by using a dead body as a shield. Jun sends Kim food and a walkie-talkie. They finally talk voice to voice. Kim thanks him. Jun tells her she gave him a reason to live. But their peace is short-lived again. What they think is rain turns out to be the thundering footsteps of a massive zombie horde. Kim knocks over a table, attracting them. Jun distracts them by calling phones in other apartments. It works, but they know it's time to escape. Kim rappels down the building, killing zombies with brutal efficiency. She retrieves the fallen gun, but just as a zombie attacks, Jun joins the fight. They battle together and flee to a nearby building Kim had been observing. Inside, they reach the 8th floor and try opening doors. One man suddenly pulls Kim inside, throws a smoke bomb, and brings them to safety. The man introduces himself as Seyoung. He claims to be the only survivor on the floor and offers food and water, saying a rescue team is coming. Jun and Kim are overjoyed, but then Jun collapses. He's been drugged. Kim follows. When she wakes, she's chained in a room with a zombie, Seyoung's wife. He reveals he's been feeding survivors to her to keep her alive. Jun awakens, grabs the gun, and confronts Seyoung. The man begs him to let his wife eat Kim in exchange for safety, but before Jun can intervene, the chain slips, and the zombie moves toward Kim. Jun desperately tries to break the door down. Suddenly, everything goes quiet. Seyoung opens the door, thinking Kim is dead, but his wife turns on him. In the chaos, Kim shoots them both dead. The gunfire draws every zombie in the area. Kim and Jun prepare for the end. Kim gives him the gun and asks him to shoot her, but before he can respond, helicopters appear overhead. They rush to the rooftop, dodging zombies and throwing smoke grenades. Kim slips. Jun pulls her to safety. But by the time they reach the top, the helicopters are gone. Jun screams for help. The door behind them bursts open. Zombies charge in. He fires until the gun clicks empty. Just as they brace for death, a military chopper appears and opens fire, mowing down the horde. Soldiers pull Jun and Kim on board. They've made it out alive. As the helicopter soars over the devastated city, a radio broadcast plays. Over 50,000 people have been infected. But the reason Jun and Kim were found? The photo Jun posted weeks ago, the last digital cry for help that saved their lives. Thanks for watching, guys. If you love animated and superhero movie stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more amazing content. See you in the next one. Bye.